April's finally rolled around, and it's brought us one of the strangest, most experimental Humble Original titles we've seen so far. This is Lyric Sonata by David Kanaga. Lyric Sonata is described on the Humble Monthly page as a miniature side-scrolling adventure across music notation platforms for solo cursor, which I have to admit is a pretty decent effort to describe this game that really doesn't fit into any familiar genre. Actually, even describing it as a game is a bit of a stretch. It's probably more accurate to describe it as something of an interactive experience. The aim is to guide this black ink line that follows your cursor through a variety of environments filled with musical obstacles. Most of these environments follow a musical staff sheet filled with notes that produce tones when the ink line interacts with them. As you continue to move through these environments, the backgrounds and objects begin to change, as does the sounds produced with them. The tones produced by these interactive objects don't necessarily produce a cohesive piece of music as you move through them. In fact, more often than not, you'll be delivered quite a cacophony of sounds as you travel around. Other times you'll go through sections of objects that produces an interesting melody that can sound quite harmonious. There's a pretty good variety to the environments that you move through. From simple painted pastel backgrounds to bizarre, complex 3D shapes and models, there's plenty of interesting visuals to accompany the audible commotion taking place. The whole thing takes about 15 minutes to play through and ends rather abruptly. There's an insinuation of a narrative that takes place involving a boat, but after numerous playthroughs, I couldn't piece any of it together. Lyric Sonata is certainly one of the stranger Humble Original titles and sure does tick the experimental criteria checkbox that I like to see from the Humble Original games. I just wish there was a bit more to it. I would have preferred if it was longer and gave us a bit more of the story that it's obviously trying to tell. I really like the premise and the way you interacted with the world. I just wish there was more to interact with.